Today for Full Album Friday, we're going back to 1992 to check out the amazing self-titled debut from Rage Against the Machine. Rarely has a band name been so perfectly descriptive of the music you find therein than you get with Rage Against the Machine. And it goes without saying that there's no other band in history quite like these guys. And even if they'd never released another song after it, they would be complete musical legends just because of this record. In short, this album completely rewrote the books on what genres meant, on what you could do musically and lyrically. Everything. And it also ignited an entire generation to get involved with the world around them and be more aware. It also inspired countless bands that wanted to be just like them. When you look at the history of music, the self-titled album from Rage Against the Machine is an absolute turning point. Before we even get to the music, a lot of people aren't aware that this is one of the most perfectly produced albums ever. In terms of acoustic balance and how everything sounds, few records are this good, and that is actually fact. That's science. Tons of audiophile websites, magazines, and just audiophiles themselves use this album to test for quality when it comes to their speakers and amps, all sorts of new stuff. This record is used for setting benchmarks. The fact that it's used for that sort of delicate and precise measurements while being one of the loudest albums ever, that's kind of the secret of this album. There's so much going on beyond the noise. And in many ways, that's kind of the genius of this record. This album is also where the world at large was introduced to the style and sound of Tom Morello, and he almost instantly cemented his place as one of the most important and innovative guitar players ever. It was the way he approached the instrument, as well as all the different sounds he was able to extract from it. Well, I mean, I hate to say it again, but he totally rewrote what you could do musically with a guitar. And it sent a generation of music players, old and new, back into their bedrooms trying to look at the guitar in a completely different way. The riffs, the chords, that raw power that he brings on every single song. It still blows you away even after all of these years. You can listen to these songs a million times and it never loses its impact. And he has such a distinctive tone that the instant he starts playing, you know it's Tom Morello. But make no mistake, the rhythm section of Comerford and Wilk is just as important and just as singular. And the urgency and the force that they bring, that is the key to so many of these songs. They sort of loom and then they attack, they reel back and then they pummel you even more. And then they sort of stalk around in this really cool, imposing way. The bass lines and the drum action on this album, they're second to none. There's no way around it. Just think of all the iconic musical moments you have on this album. You've got the bass line on Bomb Track. You've got the guitar on Know Your Enemy. You've got the drums on Freedom. Every song is legendary unto itself, and you know all of them by heart. These are anthems. And on top of all that, nobody is quite like Zach on vocals. Nobody. Whether he's screaming in a way that perfectly captures just how frustrated and disenfranchised so many people were, or he's bringing rhymes to educate you on issues you never even knew existed. His performance here is nothing short of revolutionary, and it's everything it means to be a great frontman. At every turn, he matches the aggression and the ferocity of the music behind him. But he also proved just how much knowledge and intelligence you could convey even in this loud and aggressive musical form. The bottom line is, from beginning to end, this album is filled with unforgettable lyrics. You want me to prove it? Fine. Finish these lines. If we don't take action now, I won't do what you told me. Every single song on this has an anthem to it. You gotta love them. These are songs you don't sing along to. These are songs you shout along to. You can't do it without putting your fist in the air. This is what getting people into music is all about. And when you think about it, there's just no other record, even by the same band, that's quite like their self-titled debut. It's filled with more musical originality and integrity than almost any other album in music history. And it's one of those albums that never ages. It brings just as much ferocity, just as much power and impact as it did more than 20 years ago. And if somehow this record isn't in your collection, honestly, there's no excuse for it. Get on that right now. Thank me later.